Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. Listen to that wind howling. Watch that snow falling. Welcome to early winter on Misty Hills. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing is getting the couple pieces of forestry equipment that I need to go ahead and do this work. Again, I'm going to lease them, so you can see we're going to lease for $9,690. And I also need to be able to remove stumps. So this will remove stumps and bushes, which will be good because I can clean things up a bit. And this is just $2,000. And now I'll just need to go pick them up. Alright, so again, the server time is substantially behind. We're going to get to remedy that. So my intent is to try to figure out what I want to do. And some of this, unfortunately, is going to be related to making some educated guesses, but ultimately where my house where I can sleep is going to sit is not that critical. I think I've got a little bit of leeway. And it's going to be one of the smallest things I need to place. And then, probably my silo will be the largest, rivaled or maybe equaled by the sheds that I put up. And the question is, I do have something like what Swede has up here from FS19. I just did the open roof shed. It's easy, it's good. I may just do that. I'm just not entirely sure until I start trying to position things. Because I could do smaller buildings around. The thing is, I need to probably already count my equipment, because I think if I do anything with bays, I'm still doing, if I do a 6-bay shed, it's just going to be long, and I would need 2 or 3 of them anyway, where it's possible that one of those would work just fine. But the benefit will be if I can get the house down. The one challenge right now in FS22 is from a sleep standpoint, you're only able to sleep till about 9 a.m. So if the server gets further off than that, I have to do something different. There's nothing I can do different. We'd have to let the server drift, more than 12 hours, and then basically have FSN operations put in a ticket and have them adjust the server time, which they're able to do with power tools, which you can then set to a specific hour. So they're not reliant on the sleep mechanism to do it. But in FS19, we had a mod that was being used on the servers that basically let you, sleep at any point in time, and then also say, I just want to sleep an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, like you would just calculate what you were off and be done with that. I'm going to go ahead and connect everything up, because I think, I'm going to use the stump grinder with this, and then I'm going to position the wood chipper. Is this like dragging on the ground? It is. Okay. Now I feel a little bit better. I'm like, why am I not moving? That is semi-unique, I guess. I'm pretty sure that most other implements, when you pick them up, are in the raised state when you first attach them to your tractor. So that was definitely different. Now there is a little bit of a gamble. a little bit of a hope here, but I also realize I don't appear to have a whole lot of choices, so I think I'm going to have to find a way to make these work. Is if somehow these don't function for the job we're doing, obviously I can return them and try to find something else. It's just when I looked for the wood chipper, for example, there was one option. So yeah, going to the time again, it's actually after 7 a.m. already in real time, so we're off, about a little over 4 hours at this point on the server. But that also means I've got less than a 2-hour window to get myself to the point where I've got a trailer in place and I can sleep. And then the benefit is, obviously, if I do that, I get to daylight or closer to daylight. Once again, I'm not sure what it'll look like because I am in the first day of winter, and the days are short in the first day of winter, as everyone knows, and therefore it may not be light yet, although I would think even by 7 a.m., and at this point, regardless of what I do, the latest I'd be sinking to is 8 a.m. Because there's obviously some leeway allowed since you can't sync to the minute. And so what I've tended to do is, if I'm past the previous hour, which I am, like I'm already after 7 a.m., and obviously I'm going to be doing work and minutes are going to go by as I do that work. And I'm hoping it's honestly just going to be minutes, that maybe in 15 or 20 minutes, once I get everything here, that I'll be able to go ahead and place that building and adjust the time. So then I'm going to hop out here, and I'm going to hop into the tractor, the other tractor. They're both tractors. I was up pretty late yesterday fixing the pallet situation for unplanned work time, and so I ended up sleeping in longer than I normally would this morning. So, and part of that was I knew getting on the server here, I'd be in the middle of the night anyway. So if I had gotten up and gotten on the server at the earliest time I normally would have, it would have been a couple hours ago, and so, it would have just been 1 a.m., which I don't know that it would be any darker. This is kind of FSN's night, or FS's nighttime, which is good because at least it's not, I've talked about this many times when I do night work. It's not impossible. It is for certain things, like when you're trying to pick bales up. It definitely gets interesting because a lot of times they won't be visible until you're basically within your light circle, and that light circle doesn't go out that far. So when you've got a field and you've got bales all over, it gets to be a challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and get this collected, and then I'll be back. Alright, so I'm trying to think this through, the best way to try to do this. And what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to change my mind a little bit. I was going to use the tractor, but I'm actually going to use the truck here. So let me disconnect that, because I need to drop this here. And then pull forward. So I'm basically going to line this up at the 90-degree angle. Or try to go that way. I guess I should have tried to see if I can just drive there. Alright, so yeah, the challenge becomes, I'm going to turn the truck off. The challenge becomes really trying to figure out what, where I want to be, you know, and what the positioning is. So if I kind of put myself in the center of my future driveway, I turn myself to 90 degrees, or close to it. Come on, I had 90.0. I'd love to just, wow. I don't know. I'm just trying to really be perfect. Alright. So the problem ends up being to be at 90. Okay, so it is this one. And then this one. And then I'm in the center of my yard. Or, you know, the center area that I would start to use. And the good thing is it's pretty clear here. So there's going to be minimal things to worry about that way. So, you know, and that's the confusion, is like there's, you know, that one may go too, but you start like, well, there's this tree, there's that tree, and you're trying to figure out what you need to do. But what I'm trying to figure out is, you know, how do I light my way? So my question is, I'm thinking something right here will be good for the house. And I may just go ahead . Alright, so some of the challenge I have, there's a cheaper home here, but it has a much bigger footprint, and as you can see, kind of overlaps with everything, probably trees, and so it's like here I can put, but that's like right where my road would be. So my original thought was this one, but I'm still having some issue here. Alright, I've got to figure out what's happening. I don't know if it's this. It probably is. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and get my equipment closer. So if I unfold the wood chipper, and then turn on the wood chipper, now here it's running, and I should be able to just take these and throw them into the wood chipper. Okay, this is how I did it on 19. I'm hoping this will still work, because otherwise, goodness, I move and it throws it. I mean, again, there's a little bit of that goes on, but normally it's not this bad. So I apologize for the sound. It's loud, but it's a wood chipper. Alright, and more than likely these things are gonna generate nothing, so usually sticks this small are questionable. So yeah, the key is we obviously don't want to leave anything laying around. So we've got to be really careful as we cut trees and so forth. Alright, so I probably need to move him now. Because as I pull through with my other tractor, that's going to require a little bit of motion. So yeah, I'm thinking there's going to be a lot on this episode that's just kind of cut to things that are happening. Because there's frankly just a lot of running around. And a lot of thinking, and I'm not going to be talking much when I'm thinking. So, you know, I'll just probably go ahead and, you know, maybe show a tree or two, and then go ahead and as I'm placing things or figuring out what to do, you know, I'll show those, and then you know, kind of go from there. So let's see if that's interesting. So that actually really like gets rid of that, which is okay. Let's see. B, because I definitely want to. Oh, I have it lifted. I'm like, what's happening? I thought it was supposed to do stuff, but it isn't. So yeah, that'll rip up the grass, which is fine. Oh, I think I'm hitting a branch here is what's going on. So let me lift that. And then let me go around to where I was at. And then, you know, we'll go ahead and kind of cover out the space we had where the tree would have been. Make sure we take out that stump. So, yeah, these things get complicated, so I'm laughing because basically I got out to go find where I was standing, but obviously I'm not standing there anymore. So, anyway. Alright, so the goal here is to place this Alright, so it's a little more challenging to pick things up, or to trim off the branches of trees in FS22. So that is a new one for me. But the good news is, oh, I don't have the chipper turned on, that's just the tractor. Alright. So let me see if I turn on the wood chipper. Alright, so to have the wood chipper on, I need to have the tractor on, so, which makes sense, but I just figured I'd see. Now I may move this because obviously I'm like next to this other tree where I parked this thing, and it's much more challenging to get these logs where I need them. So there we go. So that chips that up. So this is kind of the first real tree that has come out. And so it's kind of the center of the driveway. So see, that one was almost like non-existent as far as it being chipped versus it just being vanished. Yeah, I think that claw ends up getting in my way a little bit. So I might need to see if I sit down and do something else with that. So yeah, the challenge here is, like, the wood chipper in FS19 was self-contained, and so goodness gracious. So yeah, so I could disconnect it from the trailer and then you know, kind of. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and place this there. There we go. So I've got my mobile home. I just wanted it far enough back that it was, you know, kind of out of the way. I'm going to have some nice trees around it. And more importantly, I'm going to be able to get time to where it really is. Now, we may suddenly have snow on the ground when we do that, but we'll find out. Right. So we want to wake up at 8 a.m. There we go. So the grass is getting a little white. Things are starting to definitely get snow covered. But more importantly, we've got a little bit of daylight here, and that helps us see things without running around with a flashlight. So once again, as I said, you know, this is kind of where we can do things, and you know, these smaller things, they're basically just giant bushes like this thing. So the bush mower eliminates them, and you know, that will you know, take care of some stuff. So I'm going to do a little bit more work, and then, you know, I'll come back, and as I said, I'll kind of show what makes sense at various points. I basically gave myself a line of kind of the center straight through, you know, close to 90 degrees of where, you know, where I am. And then that will give me a better position to determine where I can put some things. So again, we've got a lot of space here. These really, you know, again, there's a lot of brush, but there aren't a lot of trees. You know, and the goal is, once again, to do some stuff, you know, obviously as these fill out a little bit more in the spring, you know, now we've got winter, we don't have a lot of leaves, so, you know, we can see further than we've been able to see at any point that we've been on this map. But, so yeah, that's what I've done so far. You know, started to lay down the road in, you know, basically that's just painting over the grass and so forth, so that's easy enough. You know, and the mulcher's basically, you know, acting like a plow with the brush, because it's, you can see it's kind of created this line that looks like a field on the map, but, you know, we're basically, I'd be turning it into a field, but, you know, the goal here is not that it's going to be a field, it's going to be our farmyard. Alright, so I'll continue trying to kind of figure out what makes sense, and I'll bring you back when I'm trying to place something else here. Alright, so my key items are down. I'm going to have to, throw some silos down and so forth for supply. But those will be easy enough, because those are small and can be placed in other areas. The biggest challenge is going to be they need an auger, so there's got to be a little bit of ability to move those things around, because I don't think there's any silos like the main one here that we can pull in and have got the pit and so forth. So I just need to kind of paint things up a bit so that I have roads around and it just looks a little bit nicer. But all in all, it wasn't really too bad. It was mainly brush. I think it ended up being maybe 10 trees in total, so certainly not massive. And I've done what I could to leave a lot of things around, so I think I've done a good job of trying to conserve things. So we'll see how it all lays out, and I'll be back to show you what we've got, and maybe go ahead and place the silos. Alright, so finishing up here, I'm going to go ahead and place this workshop's trigger right there in that location, and that will allow me to fix equipment as I drive it into the shed. So I'm really trying to efficiently use my space. So I'm going to go ahead and place this there to be able to fill things as, again, I pass through. I want to make sure that I can interact with things. So the thing I'm trying to figure out on the silo, alright, so I can go ahead and just buy diesel. So we'll do that, and now we've got 25,000 liters of diesel. Alright, so I took that little piece of wood that I found and got that, placed away. So we're in good shape there. So yeah, we've got the petrol. So then I need a liquid fertilizer, storage, seed, lime, and regular fert. So those are my things that I need to place around as well. I'm going to go ahead and actually move this. Yeah, it's not under tools. It's under container, which is where I found the gas as well. So see, this silo can be filled with fertilizer. These can be filled with seeds, fertilizer, lime, pig food, mineral food. These are bigger, but they require an auger. Well, this one requires an auger too. Didn't realize, because I knew this one didn't. So this one appears to kind of let me purchase, but they didn't do that with these silos. And this one also lets you do that, where it's got the fill point and what I think is the purchase point. So let's see if I position that like, so the fill point is that way. If I put that there, I think, you know, that'll let me do my liquid fert. I kind of hit the button before I was totally ready, but because I got a little close to it. But that'll work. So I also want to go ahead and get my pressure washer placed there. So now we can clean things up. So maybe these will be what I want to do. In that case, they don't hold a lot, but if I can purchase things, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure. Yeah, so it looks like I can, in fact, do that. Now let me... Okay, so what I wanted to verify was that I can, in fact, put things into the silo. So that point is both a fill and a load point. So we've got our, sorry, I'm like losing my position here. So we've got some liquid fert in there, the stuff that was on the ground, so 3302. Alright, so that was my concern, is can I only buy liquid fertilizer, and then I can't go ahead and put it back in there, because obviously then there becomes a challenge, and if I've got to fight with the augers, I can do that, but I'd honestly prefer not to, especially for supply silos. I mean, if I was doing something where I can't refill like this by purchasing, then I'd have an issue, but it looks like, they're kind of giving us that option here because that's what's available in FS22. And so at this point, again, I just want to make sure. So I'm going to go ahead and place this. What's it overlapping with? I don't understand. Okay, so stupid me, I was overlapping with me. Like I was standing there, and obviously that was a problem. So I'm going to throw one of these down. And now I'm going to just test it and make sure it does what I think it does. So I can do seeds. Okay, so I can just do seeds. I can't do lime. Alright, so that is why it's important to test things. So I have seeds, liquid fert. This will let me do fertilizer. I need to stop standing places because I'm creating my own problem. So this will do fertilizer, and then I just need something for lime, which is my biggest issue. And yeah, so I think if I put it where I was going to, right here as I head in, I'll have some room here to maneuver any kind of auger I need. So I'm going to go ahead and place this. And then, because lime is so crazy big, or consumes so much, I'm basically putting this over here. Alright, again, I think I was standing in my spot. Crazy me. So I'm hoping I'm not going to regret this, because I'm creating a little bit of a corridor here, but, you know, I think that driveway is relatively large. Alright, so I've got liquid fertilizer, seeds, fertilizer, and lime. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to fill these out. Alright, so luckily I think I learned my lesson on the small silo. I just decided to check, and sure enough, if I look at fertilizer, because the seeds tell me it's full, but if I go here, okay, why is this? Oh, because that's not the interaction point. If I do 60,000 liters of fertilizer at 105,000, that's significantly more expensive. I'm paying basically $14,000 more than if I was to just buy the fertilizer and then transport it. So similarly, you know, what I need to look at, I'm going to check the liquid fert. So 170, 197, 224, 660. So yes, if I was to buy that, that would be 194.26. So again, that's like 30,000. So I'm still better off purchasing and transporting products to the silos. So I won't necessarily well, I won't use those refill points because they're more expensive. And also, this may be something I missed. There may also be a point where they said, well, while these silos have this capability, we're not supposed to utilize it. So, obviously I just did it on the one, and I'm not going to do it on the others. But then we can get product moved over. So that is normally something I do in the winter time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of my equipment put away now. Just make sure everything is good before I return my woodworking products. I'm thinking at this point, if it's not, it's just going to be, you know, little things here and there that I'm hoping I can work in. But right now I've got, you know, a path through where I can get to the field. So if I'm going to do some work, so I'm just starting to put away my equipment. So I've repaired the seeder and repaired the tractor. They're actually not that dirty now that I take a look at it, which is somewhat surprising. But yeah, we'll go ahead and see what makes sense here. So there's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Again, I'm trying to minimize the trees I take out and so forth, but obviously I've got to, you know, kind of make things work. Oops. So a little bit of lag got me there. Let me back up. So yeah, I think if I put that there, that might work. And again, once I position things in the shed, I may determine that there's just a different order I want to put things in, and you know, maybe I'll put things I don't use very often, such as the rock picker, in the other locations, and then you know, use these areas that are a little easier to get to in the spaces that I need to. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the truck here for now. I'm gonna end up pulling that out in a second to go refill the liquid fertilizer and stuff, but I want to get things out that way. Get things out of the way is what I meant, so that I can go get my other implements and put them away. So, you know, everything else, because it folds and so forth, is relatively compact. In FS19, I definitely also kind of back things in on both sides. So, you know, the good news here is, I mean, not that I didn't have that option in FS19, but I have a little more space to turn around. So it's like if I need to go to one side of the shed versus the other, I've got, you know, the driveway that I've got put in that just goes through, you know, which for all intents and purposes is my road through my farm, and so I can easily get in from one side or the other. You know, the challenge obviously is, you know, if you're going in here, and once again I can always pull in, and the nice thing is the way this is set up, like I can pull in and then pull out this way. So if this isn't something that's stored on this side of the shed, I would easily be able to get there. So just repair the plow. I'm sure there's, oh, it's only $1,000. Way better than I expected, given the fact that we plowed that entire field. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna back this one in here. If it gets ridiculous, I'll kind of clip the video and show you where I've parked, because I may end up spending 3 minutes parking this, but my hope is I can do it. Again, it's my quad track that is my friend, so they are easier to maneuver for things like this than the other tractors. So it should work relatively well, but you know how it goes. Best laid plans and stuff like that. Just trying to go slow, but it's still meandering more than I'd like. Whoops. The lovely force feedback wheel. Just trying to snap me to a direction I really didn't want to go. I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. So, straighten this out, and then head on back, and then I'll find another way to do it. So yeah, this is probably going to be jump cut. Maybe not. I'm getting it in there pretty well now. You know, and some of this becomes, as we've talked about in the past, it's just understanding how to use what we've got, you know, how to work our farm. So the thing is, yeah, I can get in here, and this will work. It's just a matter of, am I going to be able to actually get back in here to get it out when there's other things parked next to it. But we'll see. Because the other thing I need to remember is I did, you know, have things parked around the shed in the other farm. So that's the reality I've got too that I have to be aware of is, you know, I'm kind of going to be fooling myself if I claim that I didn't, that I just was able to fit everything I needed into that single shed. I didn't have enough room to put any other storage on the farm, so I didn't do it there because I was landlocked with the road. But anyway, let me dump this lime here, so that should in theory, oh, I can't dump the lime because I need an auger. Alright, well, I'm gonna put this in to the shed then, and then we'll figure out if I pull it back out and try to put things in the auger once I have one. Because I have to buy one and get it over to the farm. So yeah, definitely close. But, you know, I've got enough room to maneuver for sure. Like here is fine, it's just that other spot that's a little tight with what I have in front of me. Because here, especially with the quad track, I can turn and there's not really a problem. And I mean, as we've done in other farms, like along fields and so forth, you know, if that one branch gets to be a problem, I can probably try to trim that one branch off the tree. But no, what I was saying is the harvester and the headers and the header trailer and all that were parked outside. And that's not to say that, just like some of the other FMs that we saw that don't have sheds right now, other things like that, that's not to say that I can't go ahead. Oh, I should also put up a herbicide. So that would be another liquid. Alright, so the challenge becomes another surprise here in FS22. There's no silo for herbicide. So I don't have anywhere to put it. So yeah, so because of this kind of maneuvering, this is exactly why, because initially I was going to put something on that clear area. I was potentially looking at putting the diesel tank there, and then I'm like, it's going to just cause me maneuverability headaches, more than likely, so let me not do that. So that is why I didn't do that. Again, per the typical, when I can, I'm going to go ahead here and, you know, pull through and then just back up a little bit rather than backing down the driveway entirely. What is this thing doing? It is not turning. There we go. Just being a little bit careful to get it in, again, where I need it. So I think that will work. It gets it pretty close and compact. Alright. Let me again head out. I think I'm going to put my favorite tool away, my rock picker. That one, though, I will probably just park in the woods because technically it belongs out back by the woodshed anyway. Because it is a bad, bad thing. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about and don't understand my feelings in rock pickers, I encourage you to go back and watch my rock picking video, and you'll see how much fun I have with these things. The answer's simple. It's none. But you know, in case you just had any doubt, actually I want to go this way, because yeah, this is going to be fun, because this thing's hard enough to deal with going forward. I'm sure putting it where I want is going to be even more fun. But again, I've got this space. I just need to kind of get it somewhere off the beaten track. It's a rock picker. It can sit outside. So where I've got certain things, that's what I may do. And then eventually, if I want to put some buildings up, maybe I will. Alright, so I ended up having a bit of a conversation with one of the other FMs who was on, Ginger, for a bit. So, and in the meantime, we've now got snow that's sticking on the ground. So if we had any doubt if we were up in Canada, I think we've settled that. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and return the least items I have. Whoops, actually I don't want to do that yet. I gotta sell my wood chips. So let me go do that. And I've got some other things I'm trying to figure out. Oh, I still have equipment to put away. Goodness gracious. I got distracted talking to the neighbor, and then I don't even realize I've got stuff to get done still. So let me go ahead and get this stuff put away. So I guess you get a little bit more of me. Lucky you. Alright. So, as always, you know, talking with other people who play Farming Simulator and so forth, I was sharing with him my joy of rock picking and how it was going here and so forth. I'm not sure if this is going so slow because I haven't hooked up the hoses. It probably is, so let me do that. Much better. Yeah, I haven't been doing that as I've been moving things because I'm like, not going very far. I'm not going to use them, so I don't need to. Oh, I also realized I didn't repair some of the other equipment, so didn't repair it, didn't wash it, all kinds of stuff that I just have forgotten to do. Alright. But yeah, this one's clearly pretty dirty. So we'll get this cleaned up. Probably not something you'd normally be doing in the middle of a snowstorm, but this is Farming Simulator, so we do it when we do it. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and get this placed in here. If I line this up a little closer here, I'll be able to actually fit some more stuff in there, which is always good, because if I can get everything put in this shed, that would be terrific. Alright, so I think we've just got one more item. For now, that'll be good. Yeah, this is just the trailer, which again doesn't technically need to be put in the shed. I'm half wondering, I'll probably tuck it in a bit. I'm going to leave it here because at this point this trailer exists for one purpose only, which is to move my honey. So I obviously need it here near the honey. So I'll just do that. So I'm just going to pull it into the woods and leave it there, and that way I don't have to go that far with the forklift. Same thing, I think I'll just leave the forklift there. I'm gonna try to go in here. I think I see a path that will work through the trees. Of course, there'll be some tiny little tree I can't see that'll mess me up, but no, it looks like that'll work. So, cool. So I will do this, and then we'll just leave it there. Now, but I've got a few things I want to test out. I don't think the one liquid tank will let me do herbicide, but perhaps it will. I just realized as I was explaining to Ginger, the challenge I'm having is that I can't find a silo for herbicide. I realized, well, I've got liquid fertilizer in there, so, because it does seem to have a selector on top, it just isn't working. And so first I was like, well, the description says liquid fertilizer, and you know, that's all it's gonna, and that's all it's letting me select, so that's all I'll be able to do. But I think actually there might be a possibility. I guess before I go anywhere, I better figure out where I'm going. Alright, so wood chips can be sold at the biomass heating plant. It's December, so it's actually a pretty high price for it. If this is working right, in theory, FS22 Giants has said they've fixed it. So I still think all these things are up here. Yep, so the biomass heating plant is there. Because I think there's just the one grain sell point down south. Other than that, everything's up on this end of the map. I do have everything plugged in. At least I think I do. Let me check. Nope, I don't have the hoses plugged in. Oh, I don't have the PTO plugged in either. I don't know how that happened, because I'm like, it could be the snow, but I'm like, this is just strangely difficult. So I think I vaguely remember on FS22 single player, I think bees either slow down substantially or stop production in the winter. So it's possible we won't get any more on our pallet there. It is a challenge to see the field versus the grass with this snow. I mean, you can tell the difference a little bit, but just definitely got to be careful, and I'm thinking at night this would be way more challenging. So, yeah, these are some experiences that I haven't had a lot of in FS22 because most of the series, jeez, There we go, with some of the lag again. Most of the series that I've started, obviously I just leave things where the game starts you, which is midsummer, or, you know, in summer, it's August or whatever it is. And then, frankly, haven't gotten that far because of the frustration with lack of things in FS22, and then right when it started getting playable, with course play and auto drive and more mods and some fun maps and so forth, we got the ability to go to FS22 in FSN. So I never really got to winter in FS22. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how this all works, because obviously it's just midday in December, and we've already got a coating of snow. Like, we may really get buried here, because if I remember the forecast, although I guess there's a sun showing up in a moment, so it looks like maybe the snow will cease for a bit. But I thought I remembered all 3 days in the winter we're going to get snow, which was part of why I was somewhat concerned if I could get the work done, other than I knew I wouldn't be going very far, because it wasn't like I was doing cutting trees down in various areas of the map or for different fields of mine. I've only got the one location. But we'll see how that all goes. Now the question definitely is, I'm not sure if the biomass heating plant is accessible by the North Road, the South Road, both. So these are the things that I need to learn over time as I get to know my new hometown. So got a good amount of snow here though, but the nice thing with this tractor is I don't know that I've certainly had challenges driving with a case, like once it gets really deep and you can start seeing that you're making tracks in the snow. I've certainly run the risk of running off the road at that point. Let me take a look. Yeah, it's actually almost certainly on the southern road here. So let me go down that way. And then we'll drop this off. We'll return these so that we pay the least amount possible. And so, yes, I'm looking more and more brilliant, I guess, that I decided to lease these, because not only did it not take me all winter, it didn't even take me half a day. So, spending whatever it would have been, $250,000 to buy them outright for that amount of work would have been relatively foolish. Not only relatively foolish, it would have absolutely been foolish. Alright, so is this the... I guess this is it. Alright, so maybe I go in there. I thought it was that building out there, but that's just something else that I don't even know that we can use. But it seems like this is... Oh wait, hold on. This is the grain elevator. That's the biomass heating plant. And silly me, I had a picture of it. So it's not like I don't know what it looks like. Although I guess I don't know that this... Does it show up on the map that way? No, it doesn't give me a picture, but the biomass one does. So the biomass one might actually be beyond this location, if it really looks that way. So yeah, it looks like this location, for whatever reason, they didn't include as something we can interact with for FSN. We're just interacting with that barn there. So, let's see. If we go here, pull up the map, I don't know if I have to go, yeah, start overloading. So, we'll see what it does and how much we get here. Probably not a ton, but it's still something. So there you go, 2003. Alright, so now at this point I can go ahead and go back to my leased equipment, and I can return it. And return it. And that way, nothing is charging me any more money. And I think we would have only gotten charged for the day of what we spent, which basically was $11,000-$12,000, which again is a far cry from $250,000. So all in all, pretty happy with what we've gotten done. So I'm going to get myself back to the farm. But at this point, definitely, oh, that guy's, hope he's got a coat. But, you know, we've got some nice snow here. Gonna be intrigued to see how this map fleshes out. So this is why we have the snowplow in FSN, where we could plow the roads if we do need to get around in the winter time here. Let me hide that help menu. But I'm going to head back to the farm, and that'll be really all I need to do. I'm probably going to look around at a few things. I'm going to see if I can figure out a solution to the herbicide. But we may be done until the spring, because it's not as if we're going to have anything to do in the spring. We can't harvest until summer with what we've planted. Definitely, given the time that I've spent, I'm not going to be foolish enough to get myself buried in the southern half of the field with something else that I need to get up this year as well. So rather than run the risk of transporting and filling my supply silos in the winter, sliding off the road, you know, ending up in this frozen water here, I'm going to wait until the spring, and I'll do my supply runs in the spring, and that'll be easy enough to do, and we'll go from there. But I hope you've enjoyed our little farm building, and I will see you next time. Alright, so here we are, all set, everything put away. Just figured you guys might like a final view.